Hey YouTube, Point Shooter here. Today I'm doing a video, my finest survival kit. This is the EDC, well it's not really even an EDC, but it's the one item that I'm definitely going to have with me when I'm out and about in the woods or I'm traveling or I'm going to be in any sort of situation that might have any sort of risk of becoming a survival situation. So as I said, it's not an EDC item, but everything you see here fits into my BCV Combat Survival Kit. I got this tin in 2013, summer 2013. It's obviously empty right now. I took all the contents out, but it's one of the best tins that I've ever had. I've used Altoids tins, I've used even smaller tins. In fact, one of the small ones that I built fits into this little plastic wound seal box. But as far as actual tins go, the 2-ounce tobacco tin is my favorite size. I understand that there's a number of different places to get these, but I really liked starting with the BCB because I really like British things, British style of bushcraft, and so I got this a couple years ago and have modified it extensively. In fact, looking at, there's only 2 items out of everything on this table here that actually came with the BCB kit. Everything else has been replaced. So let's talk a little bit about kit philosophy. When would this kit be breaking out? This would be something that if I lost all the rest of my gear, but it's also going to be sort of the primary survival kit. Is it designed that it has absolutely everything that you would need? No, because no survival kit can anticipate everything. The main lacking thing here is shelter, which really can be replaced by carrying a space blanket alongside the tin. And the other thing would be a saw. This is one of the wire saws that comes with the kits, and I wasn't able to fit it inside, unfortunately. Another big lacking thing is cordage. There's 50 feet of kite string, but that's not a lot. Something that I've never seen done before is to carry a filter straw inside the kit. I've seen a couple people do it, but it's not very widely done because these don't fit Altoids tins. That's why you need something that's a little bit bigger. This is the Zombie Joe's edition of the Aquamira Frontier Straw, and it's the older style with the element that can break, and actually I had my original Aquamira, the element broke out of it. So this is a backup one, but it'll only do about 20 gallons. So something that's very different, you'll notice the Swiss Army knife. This is the Sportsman, and I took the fingernail blade and I ground a secondary edge on it, and it's a very thick, relatively thick blade, and it's not a real shaving edge. Well, it is, but this blade was never meant to be a knife blade. It wasn't ground as such. I had to do a lot of work to put an edge on it, but it gives me a backup. It has your standard bottle opener, can opener, screwdrivers, the corkscrew, and of course the awl, which is very useful. Choosing a blade for a pocket survival kit was a big thing for me. This is the one that came with the BCB, and it's just a little non-locking folder, and it has a decent lockup, but look at the wobble. It came not sharp at all. It's crap steel. It's not a very good knife. 2 other options that I considered were my Benchmade Benchmite, which I carried. It has an awesome, outstanding lockup on it. It's the Levitator lock. These are hard to find. This one is hard to find. You get them on eBay, but I've had this one for a number of years and I really like it. But it's a one-trick pony. It's just a blade. The other option would be something like the Leatherman Squirt PS4, which is what I used to carry in this kit. But it does not have a can opener, so you had to carry a P38, and the lockup on this is abysmal. In fact, I don't even EDC this anymore. The lockup's so bad. What I do EDC is a Juice CS4, which would fit in the tin, but it takes up way too much space. So a basic Swiss Army knife is what I chose. So let's talk about fire. So we've got the cutting tool covered. I have 3 methods for fire. The BCB Fireball striker is just a 3/8 inch ferro rod, but I changed the striker out and I put a Swedish fire steel striker with it, and I ground the teeth off of it to give you a perfect 90-degree striking surface. It works great. I've got a card magnifier, which is prone to breakage, but has held up okay in 2 years of carry. And 40 wood matches with a little bit of cotton tinder in there. These are non-strike anywhere matches. They're strike on box as advertised. And obviously if they get wet, you're screwed. But so far it's worked fine. And what I use to seal the kit is Scotch 35 tape. It's the only type I recommend, and I recommend this red color. In fact, I use it to tag everything, all of my possessions. And also, it's some of the best tape I've ever used. I've used it as spike tape in the theater. I've used it for actual electrical repairs, and I've also used it for first aid. And I use it to mark and seal all of my kits. It's very waterproof. It's very great tape. So we covered fire, cutting tools, filter straw. The secondary water is chemical based. Potassium permanganate, 4 straws of it. Each one of these is going to do liters and liters and liters of water. You want to get the water a light pink. But this potassium permanganate can do 4 things for us. And I think 4 vials of it is probably overkill, but I'm just showing you the kit exactly as I unpacked it. But you can disinfect water, you can disinfect and treat fungal infections, you can use it to color snow to make a survival signal, and you can also use it to start fire with glycerin or antifreeze. I've also got the Oasis tablets that came with the BCB kit. So 3 things are original. These are the old 17 milligrams, which now they say, according to manufacturer, actually is better suited to 2 liters of water. But I have 10 of those, and unfortunately they do get broken up. These are NADCC, sodium dichlorocyanurate, which is quite a mouthful. I prefer chlorine dioxide, but chlorine dioxide doesn't pack this small. The tablets are a lot thicker and the packaging is a lot larger, so I just go with the Oasis. Oasis is also a lot cheaper. Food. I've got a couple different things. I've got 50 feet of kite string wrapped around a cardboard thimble. Kite string is great cordage. In my opinion, it's a little bit better than dental floss, but dental floss would also work. I've got a complete fishing kit, and the way that this is just to show what the fishing hooks look like, I put them on a safety pin. And I've been doing that for a number of years, and it's actually my favorite way to hold the fishing hooks. 2 things of snare wire. This is what came with the BCB, and this is just some additional craft wire I added, and I keep that around my compass. Since it's non-magnetic, it's not going to affect it. This is a sun micro compass, and what distinguishes this from the traditional button compass you find in just about every survival kit is it has a functional degree bezel, which means this can take the place of a primary navigation compass, and I've used it as such. It makes an excellent map compass. As a backup, it's luminous, which means it glows in the dark when it's exposed to light. Now, there's a couple variations of this out there. The ones made by Sun, which this has an old tactical and survival specialties logo on it. I don't even think that company exists anymore. But I got this off eBay. It has a ruler edge in inches and millimeters. But if you're going to buy one of these and you're living in the US, make sure that you get the one made by Sun. BCB makes one of these as well. These guys, BCB. But their variant is in mils, which isn't going to help you if you're in the US and you're using 360 degrees. Make sure you know which kind you're getting. For years, I just carried a standard 20mm button compass, but these are functionally worthless for map reading. They only will orient your map. This allows you to pick and set an azimuth and walk it. Its direct competitor, which is actually my wristband compass, would be a Sunto Clipper, which allows you to do the same thing. And in fact, the night luminousness, that's not quite a word, luminescence, thank you, is superior on the Sunto to the Sun. Either way, one of these would be an excellent addition to your kit. But if all you have is a button compass, go for it. It's better than nothing. Just make sure it's accurate. First aid, a couple band-aids, some antibiotic ointment, very essential in my opinion, and also remember you can use the potassium permanganate as a disinfectant. Caffeine strip, just to give you a little energy boost if you needed it, one of these little dissolve on the tongue ones. Got the standard BCB sewing kit minus the 2 dress shirt buttons. Usually not wearing a dress shirt in the woods, and I've got extra safety pins in here if I need it. There's also some monofilament in there, sinkers, swivels, and a tin can spoon that I made, aluminum can spoon. That, some diarrhea tablets, some basic painkillers. This is something that I really wasn't sure I was going to carry, but it's about 20-30 feet of flagging tape, orange flagging tape. It's not good as cordage, but if I'm going to, this compass gives me the actual ability to do precision navigation from a map. So if I broke my Silver Ranger or one of my Suntos, whichever I was using that day, with these two items I can navigate effectively, because I can blaze a trail and I can take an actual map reading and it's more than just cardinal directions, so I can actually do precision navigation with this compass. So last things here, 3 tinder quicks and just some standard cotton batting. If I was looking over this kit as I am now, what I would like to see a lot more of, and if I had space for it, would be a lot more fire tinder. This is good for quite a number of fires, and the 3/8" ferro rod will theoretically last for years and years and years and years of daily use. Well, maybe not daily, but if you had to survive for 5 years, a 3/8" ferro rod, if you follow good survival doctrine and get a fire and keep it going, this should last you forever. 40 matches, not going to last you forever. But it is going to allow you to, as long as you keep them dry, start a fire very easily and effectively. But a mini Bic lighter might be a better, slightly more waterproof alternative. The problem is, as you're carrying the kit around, something moves, and even if you have the lighter button taped, if you lose the gas supply to your lighter is now very difficult to use unless you have light fluffy tinder. So that's why I went with matches. Matches, ferro rod, some tinder, and a magnifier. The magnifier is really the only forever fire starter. And even then it requires bright sunny days, which we don't always have. One of the problems with my area is that we have 50 to 70% humidity daily, almost every day of the year. So everything is always wet. Now obviously you can baton to dry wood, which you wouldn't do with a small blade like this, but with something like a Swiss Army Sportsman, you stand a much better chance of doing some actual bushcrafting. Let me know what you guys think. I talked to Intuitive Survival about it, and he already pointed out that probably should have quite a bit more cordage. And another danger is like this, your fish hooks get tangled in your cordage very easily. So that's a bad problem. Adding another spool or two of kite string might be good, but again, you're going to have to take something out. The lack of ability to carry a shelter sheet or a space blanket. I've even tried the really cheap, really small space blankets. They won't even fit in here. There's also no duct tape. Duct tape would be a nice thing, but you're going to have 3 feet of electrical tape on the outside. Wire saw would be great. I'd like to carry a Swiss Army Farmer or something larger, but it's not going to work. It just won't fit inside. The other thing to remember is you have your tweezers on the Swiss Army knife, and actually when I took the tin apart to film this video, I found a second set in there because I, at one point, hadn't remembered the tweezers on this, so I added these. Another reason to keep track of your kits. One other thing that I thought about adding but didn't have room for was a small pen light, but this is one of those, this is a Life Gear one. It's a sort of a knockoff of the Streamlight Nano, but I'm going to have, and I do have, a 4/7 Preon 70 lumen on my EDC. So that's going to be my primary light. A pen light, let's say I did decide to put one of these in there, I took something else out. A pen light of this size is only going to be used for really 2 things. Map and compass reading, and maybe basic campsite visibility, but it's not bright enough to really effectively signal with, and it's not bright enough to navigate your way out of the woods. And even then the battery's only going to last you an hour or 2. Maybe 4 hours, but it's not going to be enough for all-night navigation except for occasional map checks. So a small pen light, I really weighed the pros and cons on it. That's why relying on a larger EDC light. So think about this. Is a tin like this, is this your be-all, end-all survival kit? No. You need a primary survival blade. You need an actual cooking vessel, whether it's a soup can or it's a GSI Glacier Cup, something that allows you to carry water. There's no condoms, there's no Capri Sun bags, nothing in here. There's no water carrying capacity of this kit. That's why the straw is good, because it allows you to drink directly from a water source. And yes, without the flexible straw or the new ones, the non-flexibles, this does work, and I have tried it. You can make this work even without the straw. So potassium permanganate, a couple tablets, you've got hundreds of gallons worth of water capability here. One problem with using potassium permanganate, Black Oracle mentioned this, is that it's not very good to have all these chemicals inside you while you're, I mean, obviously in a survival situation you need to purify the water any way you can, but when you get back to civilization, some of this stuff is not good for you long term. Same way with iodine. That's why iodine tablets usually say only for use for 30 days at a time. So whatever chemicals you choose to use, be mindful of that. So that's the kit, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Obviously, we've touched on the lack of cordage, the lack of real cutting power other than the Swiss Army knife. Be interested to hear what people think. Thanks for watching. This is Point Shooter signing out.